Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished keepers of the garden shears. You're watching Smart Garden. I assume that having harvested your final bowl of black currants, you've poured yourself a celebratory cup of Earl Grey and concluded your duty to the bush is done until next spring. I regret to inform you, but that is a rather scandalous agricultural oversight. While you enjoy your well-earned respite, your blackcurrant bush is hard at work behind the scenes, building next season's fruit buds and pumping up its root system. Abandon it now, and it will reward you next summer with nothing more than polite silence and berries the size of BB pellets. We have 15 essential maneuvers split into 5 refined phases to get your bushes back to peak performance. Finish your tea, put on your gardening gloves, and let's save next year's harvest. 1. Remove old mulch and debris. Let's begin with a bit of mandatory housekeeping. Strip away every scrap of old mulch, fallen leaves, and weeds around the base, and send them straight to the bonfire. You might view that layer of rotting leaves as rustic garden charm, but to powdery mildew spores, aphids, and sawflies, it's a 5-star luxury resort with free winter accommodation. If you leave this dodgy layer intact, those unwelcome guests will wake up famished come spring and immediately feast on your tender young foliage. Rake the soil until it's completely bare. Depriving your enemies of shelter just before winter sets in isn't just good gardening, it's pure strategic brilliance. Give your bush a clean slate and leave the pests out in the cold. 2. Sanitary pruning. Time to channel your inner surgeon. Grab a pair of sharp secateurs and give the canopy a proper inspection. First on the chopping block are any dead, snapped, or visibly diseased branches. They contribute absolutely nothing to the household and consume resources like uninvited guests. Next, ruthlessly snip out that weak, spindly shoot growth, crowding the very center of the bush. These flimsy twigs will never produce decent berries. They just create a dark, damp jungle where fungal spores love to host dinner parties. Your goal is to get air circulating freely and let sunlight hit every single stem. Be brave with the blades. A slightly tailored, see-through bush will always outperform a chaotic tangle of unproductive wood every day of the week. 3. Pest inspection and gall mite removal. Now that the canopy is open, it's time to hunt down stealthy undercover saboteurs. Inspect every stem for unnaturally swollen, round buds that resemble tiny heads of cabbage. Don't be fooled. These aren't super buds hinting at a bumper harvest. They are covert military bases housing thousands of microscopic big bud mites. Left unchecked, they'll ruin your spring shoots and spread incurable plant viruses faster than gossip at a village fete. Hand-pick these swollen monstrosities and burn them immediately. If an entire branch looks like it's infested with green marbles, don't hesitate. Prune the whole thing right down to the ground. Sacrificing one branch today saves the entire bush tomorrow. Consider it a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. 4. Rejuvenation pruning. Now for some serious structural overhaul. Grab a sharp pruning saw, because we're going after the old guard. Blackcurrant branches peak around their 3rd year. Once they pass 4 or 5, or 6 to 7 for red currants, they turn into thick, dark, lichen-covered pensioners that hoard water but yield tiny, disappointing berries. Locate these ancient heavyweights and cut them clean down to soil level. Do not leave awkward wooden stumps. Stumps are nothing but an open invitation for wood-rotting fungi to move in. It might feel a bit drastic to hack off thick timber, but removing these tired veterans frees up immense root energy. That power immediately gets redirected into pushing out fresh, vigorous shoots next spring that will actually pull their weight. 5. Tip pinching / soft tip pruning. Think of this step as a quick, stylish haircut for your top growth. Take your secateurs and snip just 3 to 5 centimeters off the tips of those long, leggy green shoots that surged skyward over the summer. Left to their own devices, these overachievers will keep blindly growing upwards until autumn frosts kill off the tender tips. By topping them now, you send a clear chemical signal down the stem. Stop reaching for the clouds and start branching out. This simple snip forces the plant to concentrate energy into activating lateral buds along the main stem. Those side branches are precisely where next season's heavy fruit clusters will form. A short, sturdy, well-branched bush always beats a tall, floppy sapling. 6. Support installation and branch lifting. No self-respecting berry should ever be forced to wallow in the mud. Take a look at the lower branches. Heavy with summer foliage, they often sag down to greet the soil. Leaving them down there is asking for trouble. Wet earth rots the bark, slugs treat low-hanging fruit like a midnight buffet, and soil-borne diseases easily hop onto the leaves. It's time to construct a proper scaffolding system. Whether you install a sleek timber frame, a circular metal support, or simply loop soft garden twine around the perimeter, lift those drooping boughs at least 30 centimeters off the ground. Getting the lower canopy elevated keeps everything clean, dry, and well ventilated, ensuring your berries remain spotless and well out of reach of hungry critters. If you found these tips mildly enlightening, or at least more entertaining than watching grass grow, do consider giving that like button a polite little tap. It costs absolutely nothing, takes less than a second, and brings immense joy to our hard-working editorial team. And if you haven't subscribed to Smart Garden yet, now would be an exceptionally good time to rectify that social oversight. Joining our community ensures you won't miss a single masterclass on outsmarting garden pests, boosting your fruit yields, and keeping your backyard in pristine condition. Go on, hit subscribe, join the club, and drop a comment below telling us, have you pruned your bushes yet this season? Until next time, happy gardening. 7. Deep August, deep soaking. Just because harvest season is over doesn't mean your watering can gets to retire to the shed. August is precisely when your bush is working overtime beneath the soil, expanding its root network and forming next year's microscopic fruit buds. A light sprinkling on the surface is worse than useless. It just encourages roots to stay near the top, where they'll scorch in summer heat. You need to give each bush a proper, deep soaking, about 3 to 4 heavy buckets of water every 7 to 10 days. The goal is to drench the soil down to a depth of 40 centimeters, right where the hungry feeder roots live. Keep those roots happily hydrated now, and they'll reward you with a magnificent explosion of juicy berries next summer. 8. Aeration and shallow hoeing. After a thorough watering, the topsoil tends to bake under the sun, forming a hard, crusty shell. That crust is a silent plant killer. It seals off the underground world, suffocating the roots and preventing fresh oxygen from reaching them. Time to break out a light hoe or hand cultivator. Gently work the top 5 to 7 centimeters of soil around the bush roughly 3 or 4 times throughout August. Keep your movements shallow and precise. Blackcurrant roots sit surprisingly close to the surface, and we're aiming for aeration, not accidental root amputation. Breaking up that surface crust allows the ground to breathe freely, improves water absorption for future rain, and keeps sneaky late summer weeds from taking hold. 9. Fresh organic mulch application. Remember back in step 1 when we ruthlessly scorched that dodgy old mulch layer? Now it's time to replace it with a fresh, sterile upgrade. Spread a clean, luxurious 5 to 8 centimeter blanket of well-rotted compost, peat, or wood shavings right over your freshly cultivated soil. This new layer acts as high-end insulation. It locks in all that precious moisture you've just poured in, keeps the root zone comfortably cool during late August heat spikes, and shields tender roots when early autumn ground frosts strike. Plus, it serves as a physical barrier against any surviving weed seeds trying to sprout. Think of it as wrapping your bush in a warm, clean duvet just in time for the cooler months ahead. Why are your berries turning into tiny pellets? Ever wondered why your once glorious blackcurrants have gradually shrunk down to the size of pathetic green peas? Most gardeners blame bad weather, poor luck, or dodgy soil. But the uncomfortable truth is far simpler. Your bushes were completely ignored last August. You see, a blackcurrant bush doesn't magically decide how big its berries will be in spring. It makes that decision right now, during the sweltering late summer heat. If a plant is forced to fight off suffocating weeds, suffer through August droughts, or feed dozens of ancient, unproductive branches, it goes into survival mode. Instead of forming plump, juicy fruit buds, it produces weak, undersized ones just to stay alive. If you want massive, sweet berries that actually burst with flavor next summer, August is your only window of opportunity to feed, prune, and hydrate the crop. Show your bushes some proper care today, or prepare for another disappointing harvest of BB pellets next year. 10. PK fertilizer application. Now for the main course of your bush's late summer diet. It's time to apply a heavy dose of phosphorus and potassium. Think monopotassium phosphate, potassium sulfate, or a generous scattering of wood ash. But hear this loud and clear. Strictly zero nitrogen allowed. Adding nitrogen right now is an absolute catastrophe. It trickles down to the roots and tricks the bush into pushing out tender green growth that will freeze solid at the first hint of winter. Potassium and phosphorus, on the other hand, act like an underground gym membership. They strengthen the wood, build winter hardiness, and fuel the development of next year's fruit buds. Feed them well now, and your plant will weather the coldest blizzard without breaking a sweat. 11. Fungicide double treatment. Fungal spores are sneaky little opportunists. Just as you finish pruning, microscopic powdery mildew and anthracnose spores are preparing to invade those fresh cuts and vulnerable leaves. We need to deploy a proper chemical shield. Give your bushes 2 thorough treatments of a quality fungicide, such as Bordeaux mixture or copper oxychloride, spaced roughly 10 to 14 days apart. Don't just spray the top of the leaves like you're applying perfume. Drench the undersides and the main woody stems until they're practically dripping. This double barrier completely wipes out surviving fungal colonies before they can tuck themselves away in the bark for winter. A clean, disease-free bush going into autumn means an energetic, explosive start in spring. 12. Targeted insecticide shield. Now, let's address any remaining insect trespassers. Late August is when sneaky pests like aphids and clearwing moth larvae try to set up permanent headquarters inside your shoots. If you notice distorted leaves or tiny mysterious holes bored into the stems, it's time to intervene with a targeted insecticide. One decisive, well-timed treatment right after your pruning session will wipe out these sap-sucking free riders before they can lay their winter eggs. Think of it as calling in a professional security team to sweep the premises. Clearing out the pest population now ensures your bush isn't drained of precious energy while it's trying to sleep through the cold months ahead. 13. Hardwood/semi-ripe propagation. Why buy new nursery plants when you can multiply your best bushes completely free of charge? August is prime time for semi-ripe propagation. Select healthy, pencil-thick shoots from this year's growth and snip them into 15 to 20 centimeter cuttings. Strip the lower leaves, make a clean diagonal cut at the base, and insert them into a damp, shaded propagation bed at a sharp 45-degree angle. Burying 2/3 of the stem underground protects the lower buds while encouraging rapid root formation in the warm soil. By next spring, these humble twigs will have transformed into vigorous young saplings ready for planting. It's an effortless way to expand your berry patch or impress your neighbors with custom-grown stock. 14. Soil structure. Boosting/compost top dressing. Mineral fertilizers provide quick nutrients, but organic matter builds long-term soil health. Every 2 to 3 years, your soil needs a proper physical tune-up. Take a full bucket of well-rotted, dark compost and spread it evenly beneath the canopy, keeping it slightly clear of the main trunk. Do not dig it in. Let nature do the heavy lifting. Earthworms and soil microbes will gradually pull this rich organic matter underground over the autumn months. This process restores soil structure, improves moisture retention, and creates a thriving ecosystem for beneficial bacteria. Consider it an investment in your garden's banking account. Feed the living soil today, and it will feed your fruit bushes for years to come. 15. Pre-winter bush audit. To wrap up your August routine, step back and conduct a final, rigorous inspection. Stand near the bush and check your work with an auditor's eye. The center of the canopy should be open and airy, allowing sunlight to filter through to the base. The lower boughs should rest safely on sturdy supports, well clear of the dirt, and the root zone should be blanketed in fresh, clean mulch without a single weed in sight. If everything looks orderly, pristine, and well-proportioned, congratulations, your August marathon is officially complete. Your blackcurrant bush is now perfectly pruned, well-fed, and fully equipped to construct next year's bumper crop. All that's left for you to do is pack away your tools and enjoy a well-deserved rest. Why August is everything and what's left for September. You might wonder, why all the rush in August? Can't this wait until sweater weather in September? Absolutely not. August is your bush's grand finale of active sap flow. While soil temperatures hover above 15 degrees Celsius, roots absorb potassium and phosphorus like mad, constructing next season's fruit buds at maximum speed. Wait until September, when temperatures plummet to 5 degrees Celsius and the train has officially left the station. Roots go dormant, fertilizer sits useless, and unpruned branches freeze. So, what's actually left for September? Total relief. If you've done your August homework, September is purely about sipping tea and making 2 tiny adjustments. Weather watch. If autumn is dry, give the bush a light top-up. If it rains, leave it entirely alone. Pre-winter deep soaking, hydro blanket. When cold weather truly arrives, between 2 and 5 degrees Celsius, pour 5 to 6 heavy buckets of water right around the root zone. This isn't regular watering. Wet soil freezes far slower than dry earth, creating an underground hydro blanket that shields tender roots from cracking during severe winter frosts. Do the heavy lifting in August, lay down your hydro shield in late autumn, and your work is done. And there you have it, the complete playbook for blackcurrant success. At first glance, 15 steps might sound like a relentless agricultural marathon. But once you break it down into clear, manageable phases, from simple sanitation to strategic pruning and winter protection, the whole operation takes little more than a couple of relaxed, late summer evenings. Blackcurrants are wonderfully generous creatures. They don't demand the impossible, but they are exceptionally sensitive to timely care. Don't leave your bushes to fight off weeds, pests, and exhaustion all by themselves after the harvest. Give them proper attention while the August sun is still warm. Top them up with a protective hydro blanket come late autumn, and you can send your garden into winter hibernation with absolute peace of mind. You've done a magnificent job. Clean your secateurs, hang up your watering cans, and go pour yourself a thoroughly well-deserved cup of tea. Thank you for watching Smart Garden. Do hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, and we'll see you in the next season.